Hi everyone, how are you going this week? This week I thought we'd do this beautiful card. I call it a glitter butterfly card. It's so gorgeous, you can actually see all the glitter in here. It's absolutely beautiful. And inside, it matches the outside. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, it's absolutely easy to make and looks absolutely fantastic. So here we go, I'll show you all the parts we need and then we can get started. Let's pop that out the way. Okay. For this card, we're going to need a card base that measures 5 7/8 by 8 1/4, and then we're going to need our first layer for the front of the card, which measures 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, along with the next layer that measures 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. We're also going to need the same size again for the insert, which is 5 5/8 by 3 7/8 and 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. We're going to need some panels for the front of our card that measure 2 inches by 5 3/8, 1 3/4 inches by 5 3/8, and a piece of designer paper that measures 1 1/2 by 5 3/8. We're also going to need a couple of squares. That's a 3-inch square that's been cut with the scalloped edge, and this is a plain one that measures 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 inches. We're going to need another piece of cardstock for our sentiment, which measures 7/8 of an inch by about 4 inches. We need a piece of glitter paper which measures about 4 1/2 by 4 1/2 inches, and a piece of window sheet which I've already done the stamping on because it takes a little while to dry, that measures 4 1/2 inches by 3 1/2 inches. Now when we stamp our butterfly on here, we need to stamp it with stays on ink. If we don't stamp it with stays on ink, it won't stay on there. So, and we need to put a little F on the front, or a mark, so that you know that that's the front showing to you. If you put an F, you know what that means, because when we do our colouring in of this, we need to colour in on the reverse side. If we colour in on this side, all of the black will smudge. Okay, so I've done that because that takes about 5 minutes to dry, so I've done that in advance. So I'll pop that on one side and we'll start on our card. Okay, so we're going to start by, I've got glitter on everything here, scoring our card base at 4 1/8 inch. Okay, and that's all the scoring we're going to do, so we don't need a real lot of scoring, and we're going to just fold that over, ready to rock and roll. Okay, so we'll pop that on one side for a minute. We'll do all our stamping now, which we're going to stamp on one of our white pieces for the insert and our sentiment tag. Everything else, as I said, the window sheet has already been stamped, so we don't need to worry about that. So we're going to just use Memento ink for the stamping, the rest of the stamping. So we're going to stamp our, let's pop that out the way so I don't get ink on that as well. We're going to stamp our butterfly off the side of the card here, and again down the bottom. Here. Well, that looks great. So then we're going to stamp our sentiment for the inside that says celebrate the good stuff. Okay, and then we're going to do our sentiment for the outside, which says happy birthday. I'll show you the sets that I used. I forgot to do that beforehand, so we'll do that all back to front, but it doesn't matter. Okay, let's stamp that bit. Whoops, beautiful, just like I bought one, as I'll keep saying. Okay, so the stamp sets that I've actually used are the Beautiful Day stamp set, and I've used the butterfly and the happy birthday, may your day be as beautiful as you, and for the insert I used the Perfect Picture Birthday, which I used to celebrate the good stuff out of. And that's all the stamping we've done. So I'm going to leave that on there because I'm going to colour this in and colour my butterfly in. So what I'll do is I'll colour my butterfly in first, and then I can transfer the same ones to that. So remember, we're turning it over, so our F here, right, F is back to front now, so that we colour in on the back. So we'll start with some nice yellow, and we do need to use our blender pens because they're alcohol based, and alcohol based will actually dry on the window sheet. So if you go over it a couple of times, it does darken up. So in between each one. So while that's drying on that colour there, I'm going to do the same one here, so while I've got it open. Okay. It saves me opening and closing the lids all the time. That one there. And that little bit there. Okay, that's that colour done. That was the dark melon mambo. So now I'm going to use the dark Bermuda Bay, and I'm going to colour in just this one here, and this one here on both sides. It makes a funny noise, doesn't it? As I say, if I go over it a second time, once it's dried, it doesn't take very long to dry, it gives it a darker look, which is really, really great. So you can absolutely go over it 3 or 4 times if you wish to really bring out the colours. So while that one's drying, I'll do this one too, which is this one here. And this one here. That little bit there, and that little bit there. I think that's that little bit there. Okie dokie. Actually, I think I put them in the wrong one, but doesn't matter. Okay, so now I'm going to use dark pink pumpkin pie. So I'm going to pop some of this in here, and I'm going to do that in this one here, and this one here. Sorry, this is just only part of the process I can't really do beforehand, because you don't know where you're going to be putting things. So that's this one. And that little bit there, along with, oh, I didn't do that one in the Bermuda Bay. I missed one. Oops. What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing now. I'm really losing the plot here. So that's that one. Get the Bermuda Bay back, and we'll put this in here. I've got the wrong end open. And like the marker pens, you can tell which end is which. There's a thick line on one side and a thin line on the other, so you can actually tell which side you need. Okay, so now we're going to use the dark cherry cobbler, and we're going to pop them in there. So Oops. If you go over a bit, doesn't matter. Nobody's going to notice it. Butterflies never have quite symmetrical shapes, so it's going to look really good anyway. Okay, so I'll pop that over there, and we'll pop the red in here and in here. And I forgot to put a little bit of yellow in there. That goes in there. And then last but not least, we'll just put a bit of yellow in there where I forgot that. Last but not least, we're going to use dark, rich raspberry for the last piece. Well, while we've got this one here, we might as well put it in here. That was supposed to be red. I'm doing good at missing the colours today. So I'll fix that one up in a second. Okay, so let's get a bit of red for that one. And that's our insert all done, and our butterfly, which absolutely looks gorgeous, but it will look even better once we put him onto the glitter paper. So which we will do now. So what we're going to do is we're getting a bit of glitter paper, and we're going to get some glue dots, and we're going to put our glue dots, if I can pull it apart, onto here. So we're going to put glue dot up in this top corner. Actually, I'll do it this way, it's a little bit easier. Down in on the bottom wing, top of the top wing, oops, bottom wing, middle of the wings, and one in the middle. Okay, let's just chop that off so it's out of the way, because I will use my smaller glue dots on the other piece. So I want to put a couple of small ones, which I'm going to curl around. So I'm just going to curl that around my tool and put on the whatever those things are called on the butterfly. I can't think what they're called. They're little not whiskers, whatever. I can't think what they're called. That's not good when I can't think what they're called. So we've done that bit, and we're going to then stick that directly onto our glitter paper and press it down nice and tight. Right, and then look how beautiful that looks. Isn't that gorgeous? It just brings the colours out absolutely gorgeous like. So now what I'm going to do, actually I should have left that bit of paper there because I'm getting all the glitter everywhere. I'm going to just trim around this. And I remember what those things are called now, antennae. So just pull that off of there like this. There's not much I can do. Sorry I have to do all of this on camera, but there's no other way around it unless I make 10 cards. But pull that bit out of there, get off my finger, and then we just cut right around the outside of the rest of the glitter and the window sheet that are stuck together with the glue dots. There we go. And there's our butterfly all ready to rock and roll. Just rounding his corners a bit. How gorgeous does he look? I cannot believe how gorgeous he looks. It really, really does bring out the colours so beautiful and vivid. So while we're on our bits and pieces, we might as well just bring in our flag end punch and punch the ends off of this. Oops, turn, because I want to be able to make sure I don't cut any of the writing off. I turn it over so I can see what I'm doing of. So that's that done. Okay, so that's all the stamping done, all the colouring in done. So it's just a matter of now assembling the card. So let's start, shall we? We'll start with our black pieces on our white pieces on both of them. So glitter everywhere here today. Let's just pop that on there. Yuck. Excuse me a second, I've got glue on my finger. And that's better, off my finger. So I'm going to stick my white one onto my black one. Get a hair off my hand. Oh, I've got hair on my hand again. I need a haircut. I think that's my trouble. Okie dokie. And we're going to do the same with our white one that we've actually stamped for the insert. Oops. Okay, so we might as well stick our insert in. And stick our white and black layer on the front of the card. I have another hair in there. Yeah. Okay, so that's our front of our card ready, and it looks pretty blank at the moment. We're going to put our 3 layers here together. So we're going to layer our red onto our black. And this will match up top and bottom. It's only at the sides here. Okay. And then we're going to put our designer paper, which, as I said, is a retired one, but I just thought it went perfect with this. It was part of the celebration. And again, this will be top and bottom, match up in length, and it's only the sides that are different. And we're going to then pop this onto the front of the card. And that will go to the left hand side from the white section only, in this white section here. Alright, so not leaving the nice black edge all the way around, and about a 1/4 of an inch on this side. So now we're going to just stick our white square, glue our white square to our black square, and that's virtually all of our gluing we're going to do. Then, okie doke. Oops. From here on in, we're going to use our foam pads. So we're going to put foam pads on the back of our black scallop square. Oops. Okay, and we're going to put that onto the front of the card then, in the same manner. And we're going to pop this up close to the, near the top, but closer to the right hand side of the card. So there's about the 1/2 inch or 1/4 of an inch gap on this side this time. Okay, and then we're going to pop some more of these on the back of our butterfly, and I've just popped them across the middle here because I don't really want them here, because some of the wings actually come off the edge a little bit. So we'll pop them on there, and he can then sit on the front of the card like so. As you can see, this way his wings are a little bit loose if they want to be. And then we're going to just put 3 on our sentiment tag here again, and pop that on down the bottom across here. Oops. How gorgeous is that? And you know, look at this, how silly am I? I've just put it all on upside down. Good job, I hadn't pressed him down real hard yet. So we'll pop him off and turn him up the other way. I don't know, that just goes to prove I'm just as human as anybody else. So, alright, so in this case, mine is going to be the opposite way around than my other card, because of me putting this on the wrong side. Huh, never mind. It just goes to prove I'm just as silly as everybody else. I can make just as many mistakes as everyone else. So now I'm going to put on some beautiful pearls. These are the Share What You Love artisan pearls, which are actually retiring on the 3rd of June. So if you've want any, you need to get your order in soon. And I'm going to put 3 of the different colours down the bottom here. I'm going to put a yellow one. I'm going to put one up here and another one just down here. Okay, so that's my card. As you can see, they are both different because silly me didn't watch which way my card was, but it doesn't matter. It still looks just as great, one side or the other. I'm glad that you see that we all make mistakes, and that just proves that just because that was the way I made it originally, it can look just as good made on the opposite side, and nobody would know any of the difference. So, okay, that's this week's card. I hope you've enjoyed it, even with all the mess ups. And no coughing. Did you notice that? No coughing this week. So I'm really doing much better, thank you. But let's have some fun, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.